Yo, what's good? What's up? What's good? Yeah, I hear me. What's good, man? What's good, man? Welcome to Game It Takes. It's just Eli today, man. And we got a lot to talk about. A whole lot to talk about. Not only do we have to talk about the NBA Finals, which is, an intriguing matchup for some, a non-intriguing matchup for others. But for the most part, should be a pretty all right finals. But it's a lot more that we got to talk about before we get to the main topic, which is the Miami Heat versus the Denver Nuggets. And we're gonna start with, I think we're gonna start with this: Skip Bayless and Shannon Sharp. We all know who these two characters are. We definitely all know who Skip Bayless is. For sure, know who Shannon Sharp is. And this has been a duo on national television for, I want to say, 6 to 7 years that they've been together on Undisputed. And there's been a lot of buffoonery going on that show. You could pick your poison. You could pick your poison with Shannon Sharp being the biggest LeBron fanboy, or you could pick your poison with Skip Bayless being the biggest Tim Tebow, Tom Brady, and Michael Jordan fanboy. You could pick your poison. But for the most part, we know where the buffoonery is coming from, and it's from Skip Bayless. And this past year has not been, it's been real rocky between these two. Real rocky. It's been a real rocky relationship. We seen it. They can't hide it. They these are two guys who wear the emotion on their sleeve. But it all started with the Damar Hamlin situation, where the man Shannon Sharp had to take off and exclude himself from the show until Skip Bayless put out an apology for the blasphemous thing that he said, which I'm not gonna repeat on here. And then when they was talking about I forget what they were talking about, but the conversation had something to do with Tom Brady. Skip Bayless took a personal shot, saying that you're just hating on Tom Brady because you weren't as good as him. Then we all seen this man Shannon Sharp almost ball out in tears. You know what I'm saying? Taking off his glasses. Skip Bayless tells him to put his glasses back on. Just humiliated the man. You know, it's just quite funny how Shannon Sharp got all this energy for everybody else named Mama. You want to fight John Morant, father, and John Morant, and the whole Memphis Grizzlies team over LeBron James, but the man sitting right across from you, disrespect you damn near every other segment. You ain't had none of that smoke for. And I get it's your professional setting. You was just at the game, uh, just having fun. Your regular everyday life. You just having fun. This is a professional setting. For people to say, "Oh, you should have got up and slapped them." Look, look. It's a certain place, certain time for things. You don't do that on TV. That's not a good look. Who think if he does that, who gonna hire him after that? So he played it smart. You know what I'm saying? He held his cool. Something he ain't do at the Grizzlies Lakers game earlier this year, but he held his cool in the right setting. So I'm glad he knew how to react in this type of setting. You know. Now he's left. He has reached a buyout with FS1, and he is leaving the network. He's taking his Club Shay Shay show with him. And he's completely leaving. Now there are rumors that he will join Stephen A. Smith. Now I kind of like that idea. You know what I'm saying? I really kind of like that idea. That'll be a really interesting pairing. Really interesting. Because we know Skip Bayless over there. He got the fake Skip Bayless, Doggy Nelson, and JJ Redick over there, who's doing a tremendous job. He still got Molly over there. She's been holding it down for about 7 6 years now, whatever it is. Um, you know, for the most part, Stephen A's roster is really sporadic. So if you can have Shannon Sharp on there as a consistent co-host, I like the idea, man. But I don't know what Shannon Sharp gonna do. But I'm glad he moved on from this clown. Um, Skip Bayless is just not hitting without Shannon Sharp. It's not gonna be. It's not. Shannon Sharp was the life of that show. Shannon Sharp was the bigger personality on the show. And somebody brought up a great point. Shout out to the Dreamers Pro Show. He said if you look at it, the reason why Shannon Sharp's personality is more broader than this guy Skip Bayless is you look at their channels. I think Shannon Sharp's channel almost it has a quarter of a billion views, something like that. And this man Skip Bayless has about 72 million views, and allegedly his subscribers are bought, allegedly. So you could just look at the two shows and see which one is more interesting, who has the more interesting personality. Skip Bayless up there talking about shit that nobody cares about. Nobody cares about your brother, and nobody cares about that. Nobody. He has a very boring voice. Like nobody's interested in anything that Skip Bayless has to say outside of motherfucking trolling. That's where he makes his money. Where he's been trolling LeBron James for his whole career, making money off of this. They gave him Undisputed. They gave him his own show. After Skip Bayless, after Stephen A. Smith kicked him to the curb, they gave this man his own show off of trolling LeBron James. Trolling. Being a weirdo, being a fanboy. This is the type of shit that this man has made his dollars off of. Hey, I ain't knocking it. Get your money, bro. Get your money, bro. You know what I'm saying? I just know I wouldn't partake in trolling the man and making a mockery of myself for years and years and years. And you the guy who walk down the street and people know you. Look, mommy, that's the guy who be trolling LeBron James, who hating on LeBron James. That's what you known for, Skip. That's what you known for, bro. Nobody cares about you outside of that. We care about what you're going to say dumb next about LeBron James. That's what we care about. Or what you're going to say dumb next in general. Now, this is going to hurt you, bro. Shannon Sharp was the best thing that happened to your career after Stephen A. got you kicked up out of First Take, bro. For the blasphemy that you're doing. And he replaced you with a guy who know a lot less about basketball, and Doggy Nelson. He replaced you for that dude, and he the fake Skip Bayless over there on First Take. So you're replaceable, bro. They already replaced you on First Take. They already replaced you. The guy looked just like you, too. Doggy Nelson is his name. Over there on First Take saying probably even more blasphemous things than you. So they can get another you. You're not one of a kind, bro. You know what I'm saying? You're not. And the guy that was making it all happen for you on your show is gone. So let's see what you do. Let's see if you have greatness in you. But I doubt it. I doubt it. This is a great look for Shannon Sharp. I was wondering when he was going to make this move. Because I'm like, damn, I'm sitting there watching. I don't even watch it no more. After that whole situation with that occurred with them, I don't even watch it no more. When Skip Bayless embarrassed him, I don't even watch it no more. I couldn't believe that I don't know what people want Shannon Sharp to do. Maybe I want him to do something. I don't know. I don't know what I was expecting, but I just couldn't stomach watching the show no more. It just became it became a clown fest. But I really wonder what this man, Shannon Sharp, is going to do next. I used to just sit down and watch and be like, damn, like this man not tired of this? He not tired of this man trolling and being weird and being biased, not sitting down to have a serious grown man debate, constantly moving the goalposts, blatantly moving the goalposts when we're having a debate in his favor. Just totally immature in the show, man. I couldn't sit. Maybe it's for the views the man doing it. Like I said, this is one of the greatest trolls of this generation, especially in the public eye. Think about it. The man on TV every day of the week. Every day of the week. Spewing his rhetoric all over the TV screen. Whoever still watch TV. All day. But like I said, shout out to Shannon Sharp. I was wondering when this day was going to come, and I'm glad it did come. You know what I'm saying? Could have been a lot sooner, but what matters is the now. And he finally got this big headache out of his life. You know what I'm saying? I know it was a lot of stress going on in the show, but you know, it is what it is, bro. Like I said, shout out to him. Now, we got some more things to talk about. Bob Myers, uh, he's no longer with the Golden State Warriors. Now, for those of you who don't know Bob Myers is a very integral part of the Golden State Warriors' success. Bob Myers is a guy who, and it's a misconception out here, bro. It's a misconception out here. Yeah, he deserves credit for what he did for the Golden State Warriors. Hold on, give me a second. Yeah, he deserves credit for what he did for the Golden State Warriors. But I think he gets a little bit too much credit, in my opinion. As the president and general manager, he made a lot of good moves. I can't say that. Um, he really loved the organization. He was dedicated. But a lot of people feel that the Warriors dynasty is coming to an end with the start of this. Well, with this news, this is the start of the end with Bob Myers leaving the organization. He was very important to their front office. Made a lot of key moves and implementing pieces that fit in the Warriors organization, and pieces to help to win the championship. The KDs, the Wiggins, etc. Whoever you want to say. And now he's gone. But the Warriors core is still there. Steph Curry, Draymond Green, Klay Thompson. That core is still there. So there's a belief that with those three still there, there's no way that this team can't still do great things with those three individuals still currently on the team. There's no way they can't win another championship. Now, look, I'm of a different belief. Klay Thompson is not the same player. Draymond Green is a wild card. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about Draymond Green. That's all I say. Very important player to what the Warriors have going on, but um, not really reliant. If you get what I'm saying, all the time is what I say. But I think that the Warriors, look, they'll go as far as Steph will take them. Like I said, Klay Thompson, we seen what he did in his playoffs, man, versus the Lakers. We seen it. Steph Curry was out there, his back was so he was carrying. Draymond Green, he did as much as he could do. He's very limited. You'll be hard pressed to see him have 10 points in the game, 11 points, whatever. But he's gonna do all the things that he's been known for. Setting screens for Steph, setting screens for Klay, getting them open, playing defense, rattling the other team's players' cages, all of that type of stuff. Being the enforcer. So Draymond, he does his job. You know what I'm saying? He does his job just about as well as he can. Like I said, he's very limited. So look, I think it's over. You can't sleep on them. I've done that in the past, and I've paid for it literally. You can't sleep on them. So I just don't know, but I definitely know that I definitely think that it's over. And a lot of people thought it was over 2020. It wasn't, but I think this is the end of the road. Draymond, he can choose to opt in or opt out of his contract. You know, who knows what he's gonna do? Jordan Poole he's regressed greatly. People saying, oh, it's because of the punch. Draymond knocked his confidence out. Who knows? But I know Jordan Poole is playing like garbage. Absolute 100% ass. And he's not helping the Warriors at all. He was supposed to be the guy to take over after Steph. A lot of clowns were saying he's the next Steph Curry, or he's the closest thing to Steph Curry, the next best thing or whatever. Yeah, yeah, no. But I do know. I don't know what the Warriors gonna do, but I would not count them out. I would not count them out at all. Do I see them win another championship? I don't know. They do have Stephen Curry. You can't rule them out. Stephen Curry, um, is one of the top 3 most impactful players in the league. No question. No question. So if all you have to do is put a really good team around him, and you can make some shit shake. Honestly speaking. But yeah, I think it's over, man. And in other news, the Milwaukee Bucks, who did they hire? Let me see. Forget dude's name. Let me look it up real quick. And when I say what I'm about to say, this is with no disrespect at all. They hired Adrian Griffin, a former Bucks coach. I mean, a former Bucks player, excuse me. Adrian Griffin is now the new head coach of the Bucks. The Bucks, they had a lot of players on the table. They had Nick Nurse on the table. He is now signed with the Philadelphia 76ers. And they had Monty Williams on the table. He is now signed a 6-year deal worth $70 million, I think something like that, with the Detroit Pistons. They had those 2 options on the table, and they chose Adrian Griffin, a guy who was with the Bucks organization as a player. Former players turned head coaches are sought after. Because players want those type of coaches who understand the game more than just looking at it. Guys who were at one point hands on. So I get that. He was an assistant head coach for let me see. He was an assistant head coach for okay, let's look at it. He was an assistant head coach for Milwaukee and from 2008 to 2010. Then he went to the Bulls. He was with them from 2010 to 2015. Then he went to the Magic. He was with them from 2015 to 2016. Then to the Thunder for 2 years, 2016 to 2018. He was an assistant for the Raptors alongside Nick Nurse, who was the head coach from 2018 to now, where he is now the head coach of the Bucks. So he has fairly decent experience as an assistant. Assistant turned head coaches. That's usually the path that they go. You don't just jump into a head coaching position like Steve Nash, and we see how terrible and putrid he was. So I think I don't know. I don't know much about him, but the Bucks organization and I think Giannis, I'm hearing was a huge advocate for him. I think I don't know. I don't really know, dude. You know what I'm saying? But like I said, with the candidates that they had on the table who have a body of work to show, like a Nick Nurse and a Monty Williams, they go for Adrian Griffin. That's a big leap. A big leap. He's an assistant coach, and a lot of assistant coaches have done well, when they got that first head coaching opportunity. But this is a team that has championship aspirations, bro. You know, and they're not putting their foot on the gas. I mean, on the brake anytime soon. So that this is not no rebuild. This is not no slow. This is a championship team with a top 3 player in the league, Giannis Antetokounmpo, if not the best player in the world. So it's championship a bust with this team. So is he ready for those expectations? I don't know. I don't know. Because we've seen Mike Budenholzer lose his job after what happened in this playoffs. So this guy, yeah, he has to show up, man. This is not no regular. This is not no regular job, but it's not no. Oh, I work for the Knicks, or I work for the Magic. No, 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 my friend, no. You have the weight of the world on your shoulders, damn near, as the head coach of this organization. You know what I'm saying? But shout out to him, another black head coach in the league. Something that was a rarity. You know, about I want to say it was a rarity at in a big duration of the time of the NBA. You didn't see a lot of black head coaches, but we're seeing a lot of that now, and in the 2010s and now in the 2020s. You know what I'm saying? So shout out to him. But now, before we get to the main event, what should we talk about? What should we talk? Okay, yeah. Let's talk about this. The Celtics in general. The Celtics. Now I gotta brace myself for this one. The Boston Celtics, right? An organization that went to the finals last year, right? Um, by the great valiant effort and the great mind of Ime Udoka, who led them there, right? Then we know what happened with Ime Udoka. They didn't fire him. I think in the beginning of the season. So in the beginning of the season, they fired him. So now they hired Joe Mazzulla. You know, they had William Hardy on the bench. They had a really solid coaching staff. You know, one of their coaches went to coach in college. You know, I heard he was going to be the head coach replacement for Ime Udoka, but it ended up being Joe Mazzulla, who was behind the coaching staff. Like all right. So there's the first row with all the players, and you know the first couple guys of the coaching staff. Then there's the guys who are behind the bench, and Joe Mazzulla is one of those guys who's behind the bench. You know, I don't think they had any plans of making him the head coach over I forget the other dude's name, but he went off to coach in college. But I do know William Hardy was another candidate. They I guess they didn't think that, you know, the two guys would do what they did. William Hardy, I think he coaches for the Jazz now. He's on the coaching staff of the Jazz. He's not the head coach. He's on that coaching staff though. And the other guy, he went to coach in college. So I'm sure they didn't think that was gonna happen. So they moved with Joe Mazzulla, and he did pretty well considering the circumstances that he was not the leading candidate for the job. He did pretty well. You could say it was on his part, or you could say it was on the part of the talent of the team and the qualities that they have built, and you know, the qualities that they have built for the past couple seasons, especially with Ime Udoka last year, and the talent that they did what they did. You know what I'm saying? Not more so because of Joe Mazzulla. You know, I don't want to take credit from that. Just how I see it though. But yeah, they had a tremendous season. The best offense in the league, if not one of, a top 10 defense. They go into the playoffs and they look suspect, man. First round against the Hawks, they go 6 games with the playing team, the Hawks. They let Trae Young get far too comfortable. The next round, they were down 3-2 to the 76ers. They let James Harden drop 40 on them, not once, but twice, I believe. They let him win the first game without Joel Embiid. They were in an elimination situation, down 3-2 against the 76ers. I don't know how that happened, but they barely squeaked by in game 6 versus the 76ers. Jason Tatum had a late game uh triumph, if you want to call it. And he was clutch and he won them that game. He was putrid the whole night up until where it mattered most, the fourth quarter. And he won them that game 6 to force a game 7, and they blew the doors off the 76ers in game 7. Okay, cool. You weren't supposed to go 7 with the 76ers, but okay, cool. We obviously know the talent difference in that series. And just the overall, it's just look, anybody with common sense wouldn't believe in no Joel Embiid and James Harden. You know what I'm saying? And that's my belief. I didn't from the start, from the jump, right? But that's neither here nor there. They then go to the Eastern Conference Finals against their most bitter rival, I would say, at this point. A team that they are very familiar with, the Miami Heat, who just knocked off the Bucks in the first round in the upset of the year. And they go and relax. They go and relax. They think wins are just going to be given to them. They let the Heat go up 3-0. And they had to scratch and fight and claw and exhaust themselves to come back up to tie the series 3-3. And they got lucky in game 6, may I add, might I add, with a Derek White tip-in. They were in control of that game and lost the game. Literally, game 6. They lost that game until Derek White came to the rescue. They were up in that game by as many as I want to say 15 points in game 6. Blew the lead late. Jimmy Butler went off in the fourth, and they almost lost that game. But they didn't. Shout out to Derek White. Game 7. They get comfortable again, thinking that wins are just going to be handed to them. They go out there. Jason Tatum on the first play messes up his ankle, completely trashes it, right? And after that, everything went downhill. These guys were missing 3-point after 3-point after 3-point, looking like the Houston Rockets in 2018 in Game 7 versus the Warriors. Just jacking up threes. Jacking up threes. They had no answer for the Heat zone. No answer. No answer. Joe Mazzulla, I really don't want to disrespect the man, but I don't know where his mind be at sometimes. I really don't. You know, he's in denial about them shooting a lot of threes. You know, I don't know. That 3-point philosophy, you know, Brad Stevens, you know, I don't know. Brad Stevens had the same philosophy, you know, and Brad Stevens is a high advocate for this man. So the similarities between those two are there. But Brad Stevens is by far a better basketball mind than this man, Joe Mazzulla. A way better head coach. Look, I don't want to say he should lose his job, but he should definitely be on watch come next season. You know, definitely be on watch. They pulled the trigger on firing Ime Udoka so quick. You know, I don't think they were gonna bring him back regardless. You know what I'm saying? Like Ime Udoka burned his bridge with them, and they were done with him. You know, I don't see how they would have brought him back after they did what they did to him. But he was a really good head coach, man. And guys like him don't come around often. And that was his first head coaching job. He was very well prepared for the opportunity. Very well prepared. Being under that Greg Popovich tree, we know how well Greg Popovich is of grooming great head coaches. I'm not going to go down the list. And we see what Ime Udoka did last year. Absolutely incredible. And his stock went all the way up after doing that. And now he's with the Rockets. But, you know, I digress. Back to Joe Mazzulla. Yeah, man, very in denial about his role. Not, I don't want to say in denial about his role because he takes full responsibility for why the team lost. I just don't think he's taking it as serious. This job as serious. Not this job, but understanding the circumstance, bro. This is a team that was favored to go to the finals. And they're looking, and I don't want to blame Joe Mazzulla as the reason why this team constantly plays down to the level of their competition. I mean, let's look at last year. They did that. It's the same thing last year. Same thing. They went 7 with the Bucks without Chris Middleton. They went 7 with the Heat, who had a terrible offense. I mean, let's talk about it. They went to the finals, were up 2-1 on Golden State, and after that, their immaturity showed. You know what I'm saying? The Warriors picked apart the little flaws that they had. And this is why when a team like that, the Warriors, which they have a high IQ over there, between Steph Curry and Draymond Green for sure. You know, they're just a very smart team. They realize that the Boston Celtics players don't go left. A lot of their players are right hand dominant. So they shut that shit down. You know what I'm saying? They put pressure on them. You know what I'm saying? And they just made the Boston Celtics uncomfortable in a lot of different areas. They had that 2-1 lead, and Draymond Green said they got comfortable. Comfortable. And that's when they knew they had him. Because after they went up 2-1, their body language was like already as if they had it won. So after the Boston Celtics went up 2-1, the Warriors proceeded to win 3 straight games. And this is what Ime Udoka. With Ime Udoka last year, this team won 7 games with the Bucks without Chris Middleton. They won 7 games with the Heat, who had a terrible offense. So it's not the coaching. That's the reason they're playing down the level of the competition. It's them. It's them. It's an underlying issue that they have within themselves as to why this is happening. For being honest, they were supposed to sweep the Hawks this year. They were supposed to beat the 76ers in 5 or 6 games. They were supposed to beat the Heat at least in 5 or 6 games as well. But they didn't. And here we are. It's now the Miami Heat versus the Denver Nuggets instead of the Celtics versus the Denver Nuggets. Last year, they were supposed to beat the Bucks in 5 games without Chris Middleton. Last year, they were supposed to beat the Heat in 4 games. Last year. But like I said, here we are. And is this going to be a recurring thing with them? Is it? Because it's 2 years in a row now. 2 years in a row. Jason Tatum, the same issues. Not taking care of the ball well. Turnovers at the wrong, deflating turnovers at the wrong time. You know what I'm saying? Inconsistency. Same as last year. Nothing has improved greatly with this team at all. Nothing. Jason Tatum hasn't improved. Yeah, he averaged 30 this year. You know what I'm saying? But if you look in depth, the mistakes that he had from last year are the same mistakes that he still has to this day and has not improved on them. He's the most inconsistent superstar in the NBA alongside Anthony Davis. That's a fact. Jaylen Brown. We know he's feeling disrespected by the organization with the KD trade rumors and all of this. But we got to hold you accountable too, bro. You were not good in Game 7. When your superstar player was hurt, you were not good in Game 7. You didn't deliver. You had a role playing Derek White carrying you behind, man. A role player, Derek White. And, you know, a lot of people are going after him as well, talking about he has to work on his handles or whatever. Yeah, he has to work on his game. A lot of players need to work on their game. A lot of players. There's no perfect player. But he just didn't show up in Game 7. You know what I'm saying? And he's been a guy who's been overlooked and not given credit when he's out there saving Jason Tatum's bacon. And that's something that I realize is a recurring thing as well. But when it's time to blame somebody, he's the blunt of the brain. No blame for Jason Tatum at all. I've seen that. I've recognized that. And I wouldn't be surprised if he decides to move on from the Celtics because he can't win for losing, man. He can't. Gets no credit whatsoever. But when it's time to blame him, when he doesn't deliver, oh yeah, you best believe you're gonna get that. But Jason Tatum get hit with kid gloves. Kid gloves. Now, as far as them two breaking up, I think that's fucking idiotic for people to say. Dumb. Dumb. Oh, it's time to break. For what? For what? What good reason do you break this tandem up? What? Outside of what you may think that Jaylen Brown has going on in his head and might want to leave. Outside of that. Outside of your personal belief. What good reason is it to break up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown? Two players, let's think about it. Two-way players. Two. The most sought after thing in the league. Two-way players. How many two-way players do we have in the league? Not many. And you're telling me that you break up this young core who are barely cracking 30 yet. They're 4 and 5 years away from touching their prime. 4 and 5 years. They've been to the conference finals multiple times. I think this is Jaylen Brown's 4th conference finals, if I'm not mistaken. 2017 was the conference finals. 2018. Was it 20? No, not 2019. 2017, 2018, 2022. Yeah, 2023. This is his fourth. This is Jason Tatum's third. Something like that. Something like that. I could be something like that. You know what I'm saying? They've already been in the finals, you know, and they're what 25 and what 26 or something like that. Young, you don't break this up, bro. You ain't gonna get this again, bro. I'm hearing people say trade Jaylen Brown for Trae Young. Are y'all dumb, bro? Are y'all literally slow, man? I wouldn't do that ever in life. I would never trade Jaylen Brown for no Trae Young, bro. That is completely idiotic. The man Trae Young is absolutely a zero on defense. Big fat zero. That's gonna make things better. Good luck holding him on defense. Good luck with that. You know? So look, I don't think you break this up. You keep this together. But something has to change. Something. They need a veteran presence in that locker room that they will listen to. Not saying they don't listen to Al Horford, but something he's saying just isn't clicking with them. You need a veteran presence in that locker room. You need a leader. There's no leaders on this team. Jason Tatum has the talent of a number one, but a mindset of a number two. So you basically have two number twos leading this franchise, and Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Jason Tatum said last year he doesn't know if he has the capabilities of leading this team or whatever he said, the mentality, whatever he said. He said it. And nobody's talking about that. We don't seem to have forgot that he said that last year. I think it was during the finals after the Warriors done put foots to them. You know, so this is a team that needs a lot of change of scenery, a change of scenery, for sure, for sure. Now, it does not start with Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum. You don't touch that. Those two are untouchable as far as I'm concerned. You give Jaylen Brown his money. I don't care what anybody say. You give that man his money. He's earned it. He didn't show up in Game 7 this year. You know, he didn't play well in this series, but for the most part, that man has showed up. Now, you don't discredit what he's done outside of, not showing up greatly in this series in that Game 7. You don't just wipe away all the good things he's done, minus the little things that he done bad, and say he's not deserving of that money, because he is. You give him that money, especially all the disrespect the Celtics organization, fans have given him. I wouldn't be surprised if he leave. I wouldn't even be surprised. Now I do hear people saying, "Oh, he should be traded for Damian Lillard." Now that's something that would be okay. You know, and I did knock Trae Young's defense. Damian Lillard's defense is not that better, but guess what? His offense greatly makes up for his defense. Greatly. Now you ain't gonna be able to hide him on defense. You're not. But he's a bigger point guard than Trae Young, so maybe he will be not forced to play some defense. Maybe he will be enthused to play some defense. You know what I'm saying? I would rather much have Damian Lillard, who is a far better player than Trae Young. I would rather much have him than Trae Young, bro. Please leave Trae Young where he at. Please. Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard or whatever else they'll throw in the trade, because I think a lot more, not a lot more, but a little bit more got to go into it just for Jaylen Brown for Damian Lillard. But whatever the case, you say Jaylen Brown, Malcolm Brogdon for Damian Lillard. I don't know how the contract, none of that. I don't know how none of that works, but sign the trade, whatever you do, that's good. But if you're not doing that, you keep Jaylen Brown. Outside of that trade, you keep Jaylen Brown. Facts. You don't break up this tandem. You don't break up this core right here between him and Jason Tatum. But like I said, I would not be surprised if this man leaves, because he's been getting slandered on social media by these Celtics fans. You know what I'm saying? A lot of other fans who are not fans of the Celtics, they just don't like the Celtics, or you know what I'm saying? He's been having it rough. So if he gone, that is just I don't know. That'll just be bad, man. You don't break that up. But let's get to the main event, man. The Miami Heat and the Denver Nuggets. Look, this series, bro. Like I said, I'm not really interested in it because I think it'll be a mismatch, and I think that the Denver Nuggets are gonna treat this team like the AC that they are. Like I said before, if you haven't already heard me say that. The Denver Nuggets are well coached. They're not mature, and they're just as hungry as the Heat. You know why? Because they have been overlooked as well. They have been overlooked as well. And I rest assured that they're not gonna go out there sleepy like the Boston Celtics did. They're taking this team very seriously. Very seriously. I'm not saying that this is going to be a walk in the park, but I do have them winning in 5. And if you take that as that being a walk in the park, hey, that's how I just see it, bro. I see the Denver Nuggets being this team in 5 games. Bam Adebayo is. I'll let you know this. Pure destruction is coming to your life, my friend. Pure destruction. Nikola Jokic is gonna rock this man, man. Barbecue chicken, barbecue chicken. Bam cannot do nothing with Nikola Jokic. Feel bad for him, man. Now, Jamal Murray, like I said, Jamal Murray is probably the key for the Miami Heat to stop the Denver Nuggets. He's a guy that you would try to stop. Why? Because I don't. There's a chance you can stop him. I don't think there's a chance to stop Nikola Jokic because there's many different ways he can beat you, man. Many different ways. Now Jamal Murray, he can get his own bucket, man. He can get his own bucket. Like he's one of those players you give him the ball, get out the way. So it behooves them to try to slow him down. Because the team, like it or not, disagree or not, their momentum comes from him. Really. Because he gets them fired up. When he gets the heating up, he gets them fired up, man. So that's their best chance, I think, of putting a dent in the series. But as far as Jimmy Butler, I don't think anybody on the Nuggets will be able to stop him. I'm hearing Aaron Gordon says he wants to guard Jimmy Butler. That's not a bad thing. He has the length, he has the athleticism to keep up. You know, um, he did really good against KD, guarding KD. Did really well against guarding LeBron. Um, will he do great against Jimmy Butler? That remains to be seen. Jimmy Butler is very hungry. And someone brought up a great point. I think it was Nick Wright, who doesn't bring up many great points. He said that he feels like this is the Miami Heat's year to win a championship, which I don't agree with. I don't think that was a good point, but he said this after he said that. He said he the Miami Heat been to the finals before. The Nuggets never been to the finals. Not even in franchise history. Not just with the players they have on the current team. And franchise history. They never been to the finals. And that matters. And I had to learn that the hard way in last year's finals. That matters. You know? But I think the Denver Nuggets, they've been deep in the playoffs before in 2020. They've been even deeper now, beating a very experienced team in the Los Angeles Lakers with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, who won a championship, beat them in 4 games. And now they're heading into this series with the team who's been in the finals. You know what I'm saying? I think the Denver Nuggets are ready. I don't think they're going to falter under the bright lights. You know? And look, also, got to say this, Tyler Hero, it may be back for game 3. Now, how he's going to look, I don't know. Will he be a factor? Yes. Whether he's a decoy or not, he's going to draw attention from the defense. Facts. Because Caleb Martin, Max Strus, and Gabe Vincent have been absolutely amazing, bro. They have the best role. He had the best role players in this playoffs. And I know Jimmy Butler don't like them being cold role players, but this is what they are, you know. And 2K, them dudes is 75 and 76 overalls. Those are role players, man. They're playing greatly. And like I said, I gotta say this as well, bro. And Eddie kind of, I don't want to say laughed at me for saying this, or like he kind of wanted to throw a shot at me for saying that I felt like what's his man? Caleb Martin deserved the conference MVP. Now I don't, like I said before, I don't know how it works. I don't know if they judge you from the first round to the third round, or they just judge you off the Eastern Conference Finals. But in terms of the Eastern Conference Finals, he was definitely the Eastern Conference Finals MVP, no question. It was not Jimmy Butler. It was not. Now, if they're going off of from the first round to the third round, yeah, you give it to Jimmy Butler. But if it was just solely off of the Eastern Conference Finals, no, it was Caleb Martin, bro. That man was averaging 20 points on 60% shooting from the field and 50% shooting from three. What are we talking about, man? Jimmy Butler shot 42% from the field and 33% shooting from the field in the Celtics series, bro. 24 points. Every time Caleb Martin took a shot, it went in my perspective. I rarely see the man miss a shot. And the 60% from the field shows what I'm talking about. The man rarely missed a shot, man. 60% from the field is absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. Every scoring opportunity he got, took advantage. Took advantage. He went off in that game 7 versus the Celtics. Incredible. Now, if he plays like that, the Heat, yeah, they definitely have a chance of staying in the series. Jimmy Butler, if he has the same series that he had versus the Bucks, which he's been, it's been very hard for him to do since then. But this is the NBA Finals, and I'm going off what he's done in the NBA Finals. The man has showed up greatly in the NBA Finals. We know what he did in 2020 against the Lakers. Valiant effort, but it wasn't enough. Wasn't enough. And people talk about how LeBron James, he ran through the West, then he faced no competition in the finals in 2020. Right? That narrative. What if that narrative is put upon Nikola Jokic and the Denver Nuggets if they are to beat the Miami Heat in dominating fashion, which I think will happen? What'll be the narrative then? Nikola Jokic didn't face no competition in the finals. Will it be that? When it's a lot of clowns? I don't want to say clowns. I wouldn't say that. I just think they're misled in their belief that the Miami Heat will beat the Denver Nuggets without breaking it down at all. Oh, they won in the finals, okay, and lost in 6 games. Yeah, they've been there. Yeah, and lost. They don't got no championship pedigree. So because they've been in the finals one time, that means, oh yeah, no, that's a terrible reason to break down why they won the series. Anybody who's picking the Heat, I haven't heard one good reason outside of that, which is not a good reason, why they win the finals, man. They don't have a better team. Both of these teams are evenly coached. Both of these teams are mature. Both of these teams are hungry. Both of these teams are disciplined. Just one team is better than the other. So why would you pick the team that's not better? Why? You know, a team that's undermanned. A team with a lot of role players who are playing out their mind now. Yes. who are shooting crazy numbers from the field that eventually will come back down to earth. And it hasn't thus far. Shout out to them. But eventually, right? We seen Jimmy Butler's come back down to earth. He averaged 24 points, like I said, on 42 and 33 in the series versus Celtics. The series versus the Knicks, I mean, come on. Virtually the same thing. The only outstanding series that he has had this playoffs was versus the Milwaukee Bucks. We averaged 37 on 59% shooting from the field, and I think around 40-something% shooting from three. He has not been the best player in this playoffs. Not. The circumstances, of course, have made people put him in that category because he's doing more with less. Absolutely, you give him credit for that. But I'm not going to call him the best player in the playoffs when his numbers are not conducive to that. Because he is not the best player in the playoffs. Not. You know? But shout out to Jimmy Butler because once again in the finals, against all odds. You know? Against all odds. Now, if he goes out there and wins the finals, like I said, we're talking about a different conversation. That's all-time great conversation. Especially if he is the sole best player in the finals, which I think he will be if they do win, which I don't think that will happen. Will he be better than Nikola Jokic in this finals? Absolutely not. I don't see it. I could be wrong, though. I could be wrong. You don't count Jimmy Butler out. You don't. But he's just not a better player than Nikola Jokic. You know? You can make an argument for impactful. You could make that argument. You know, being as though what he's done in his playoffs. But he's not a better player than Nikola Jokic. Like I said, his team is not better than Nikola Jokic's team, fully healthy or not. I mean, they literally lost their first playing game and barely won their second playing game. This is the team we're talking about. Look at all the teams they went through. They went through one team with a good coach. One team. And we've seen how bad Jimmy Butler was in that series. One team. And that was the Knicks. Mike Budenholzer, say what you want. I don't think he's very good of a coach. I've never really had that belief. Schemes have always been weird and sporadic, and he's very arrogant. A lot of the same mistakes that he's had, even when they won the championship. I'm not gonna go back through all of that. Mike Budenholzer was an okay coach. He's not better than Tom Thibodeau, who has years body of work, and I'm not saying Budenholzer don't. But I very much rather have Tom Thibodeau, even though he's very rough on his players, playing about 8 guys, for like sporadic minutes, like crazy minutes, wearing his players down. That's the reputation he's built for himself. I get that. But Jimmy Butler was brought right back down to earth when he went up against that Knicks team who was coached by Tom Thibodeau, who was former head coach. And in this Celtics series, for whatever reason, he was just as not ineffective. He was basically the same as he was in that series. Not that good. You know what I'm saying? But numbers can be misleading. I gotta say that. He did show up in the fourth quarter of game 6. And he showed up for the entirety of game 7. And in game 1, he did have, I think, 35 points. 35 points on the Celtics. So, shout out to him. But, and the reason why I bring up the coaches and all that, Mike Budenholzer, Tom Thibodeau, great coach. Joe Mazzulla, rookie head coach. Very in denial. A little immature. And almost came back 3-1. I mean, almost came back 3-0. You know? So like I said before, I'll say it again. The Nuggets, and the Heat are evenly matched when it comes to coaching. You could give Eric Spoelstra the edge, it's definitely, because he's won a championship, not one but two. And they're both hungry. They're both disciplined. Both teams have experience. One having experience in the finals, the other having deep playoff experience. Two Western Conference Finals in 4 years, in 3 years, I mean. But the big difference is, with all the similarities they have, the big difference is, and this is why I'm going with the Nuggets are the team. Better team. They have the better player in Nikola Jokic over Jimmy Butler. They have the better second best player, which is Jamal Murray over Bam Adebayo. You know what I'm saying? Now, I'm picking the Nuggets to finish them off in 5 games. 5. Now, I could be wrong, but that's how I see it. With that being said, I'm Eli. My co-host Eddie is handling business. You know what I'm saying? We will be dropping content, so look out for it. Make sure y'all follow us on all our social media. Well, before you do that, make sure you donate to the channel. The Cash App is at Game of Takes. If you want to donate, follow us on TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, and Facebook for more content. We drop content almost daily to keep you at the edge of your seat. So make sure you follow us on those 4 platforms. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and support the journey. Support the journey. Please support the journey. With that being said, I'm Eli. What Eddie would say. I'm Eddie. And I'm out, man.